California State Bill 1162. So that is the brand new law that the governor just signed. I guess it was actually end of September. And so what that bill specifically outlines is kind of twofold. It's actually a change to the reporting requirements. Traditionally, employers over 100 have to fill out this Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's reporting, which is a visual analysis of the age, gender, and ethnicity statistics associated with their employees, right? And so that has been expanded and is a requirement that will be new for these organizations, and it's going to be due like in May, right? So they pushed back the timing. It's just a little more complex. It's also going to require an assessment of contractors for the first time. The other thing with this bill is that for employers over 15, they will have to actually post pay ranges for all postings of any job. So if you have 15 employees, you'll have to come up with a pay range for maybe for the first time, and actually put it in there with every job posting. So that's the one big one for, I think, a lot of the really smaller organizations. The other one that was the reporting requirement is if you're an employer over 100 employees, this reporting requirement will apply to you even if you only have one employee in California. So if you happen to be in Nevada and have one person in California, it applies to you. So that's the interesting components to this law, and, for smaller organizations to kind of figure out like what is it that is due, right? Because the analytical assessment that is now required for those employers over 100 is actually it's actually something that is significant, because it is digging in a little deeper, a view at job level, the pay ranges, the gender, ethnicity, all of the gaps associated with all of the intersections of all of those different categorical data points. So it's something that will take more than a minute for folks to do, and it impacts those employers quite substantively, especially in the figuring out part of the law. So my book, Starting Simple Sales Compensation, and my upcoming workbook is something that can help small organizations with the steps associated with developing a pay program. Now, what we have in the California bill is specific to job postings and pay requirements, right? It's the underlying pieces that are important, and something like my book can kind of help people get started, because, as an example, one of the most important things to developing a pay range is figuring out your pay strategy, right? So you're like, well, what's your comp strategy, right? And the actual construction of those ranges. So this means digging in a little bit deeper on items like your culture, right? Because culture matters in determining your strategy, but also your job content, because your job content drives your compensation. Compensation drives your ranges of pay, right? Whether that's market focused or internal focused, right? So those sort of early steps that can be used for variable pay and my sales compensation side are many of the same steps that you need to develop any structure in compensation broadly. So I like to be able to have that as a resource for people to kind of get to thinking about how they structure any sort of pay of any kind, right? And because there's this impetus, there's this push, right? Specifically in California, it's a good time for the smaller organizations. Let's say you have 20 employees, right? If you have grown up really paying people whatever you needed to pay, one of the things is you need to categorically develop ranges associated with those jobs. If you've ever spent the time to really dig into the jobs, this is the time to do this. This fall is the time to do this, because you'll have to live with the consequences of your decisions of the pay ranges, and they'll be publicly visible, but also they can be accessed by your employees upon request. So those things essentially prompt you to have to button up some of your comp, well, the underlying comp strategy, and really some of the tactical stuff too.